last installment of the Long Range Patrol Kit series. We're going over first line gear, everything on your person. Like we said in the previous videos, you live out of your ruck, fight off your rack, and survive out of your pockets. So everything in the pockets is extremely important. So we'll go from top to bottom to include the uniform and accessories. So first thing on the very top, got a UF Pro boonie cap in Multicam Tropic. Around the top of the boonie cap, got covered in daisy chain 550 cord. This is the survival kind, has 8 different strands. Next, always wear iPro when going into any sort of wooded environment. This installment series has kind of been centered around tropics, woodlands, jungles, those sort of places. So when it comes to any long range patrol, your mission is going to dictate what kit you bring. You know, Met TC, that beaten dead horse. But it really does apply. This whole series has just been centered around, you know, working in my area, which is in the tropics that I'm currently in. Moving on down, raid modded M81 blouse. For those of you who don't know, M81 Woodland was designed at Fort Benning in Georgia, and it's one of the most effective patterns in the southeastern United States and the eastern seaboard. You know, they've been doing some trials recently at One Shepherd, and they're finding that M81 is more effective in the Missouri region than multicam is. So that's worth taking note of. But you'll see as my uniform here, I like to mix camo patterns. I believe it breaks up the silhouette a lot better. So I'm not going to wear the same pattern head to toe on a long range patrol, especially if it's any kind of reconnaissance operation, just because, you know, I think about my skill level and what I'm trained to identify. I'm used to identifying patterns. So if I see a silhouette that's all one pattern, that's going to stick out a whole lot more than mixed matched camouflage patterns, if that makes sense. So I always try to mix up the pattern. All right. Moving on down, assault gloves. I don't recommend wearing these if you're in a very thorny region, at least all the time. Now, granted, where I'm at, you have to regulate heat as well as protect your hands. But if I were to wear these the whole patrol, I would tear my hands up. And I'll get into the other gloves that I carry on my person. But as far as not wearing gloves, not an option. Where I'm at in the tropics, if you were to put face paint on your hands, you would just sweat it off in a matter of minutes. So you have to wear some sort of glove. Obviously, these kind of gloves are going to get tore up. So you want to make sure when you do come into a rough patch that you can put on some thicker gloves, or maybe even have to keep on those thick gloves the whole time. Kind of depends. Moving on down, Rigger's belt that I got in airborne school in 2009. It's been all around the planet, served me well. I believe it's made by Blackhawk. You know, if you look past the Serpa holster and all of its abominations, Blackhawk is actually a pretty cool company, aside from the Serpa. But that's a whole other video. Moving across to the wrists, got my Ranger bead bracelet, as shown in other videos. Garmin watch, and I also have analog watches, you know, in case, you know, you keep your signature low. But for this video, just wearing the Garmin's Tactics. Starting with the left shoulder pocket here. This is a raid modded BDU blouse, as I said before. I like it over some of the multicam stuff. One, because everybody can kind of pick up multicam pretty quickly these days. So running M81 for any kind of reconnaissance operations, I would say is probably going to be somewhat favorable, especially if you're only working at night, like I prefer to. And then also, it's all buttons, so you're not tearing into any Velcro to get into anything. But in this left pocket here, signaling VS17 panel, weighs nothing, so it makes sense just to keep that in your shoulder pocket. You know, if you wound up in a survival situation, you know, your hide got busted and you're running with, you know, just what's on your person, you want to be able to survive out of your pockets, like I said earlier. So VS17 panel cut down and folded up makes sense in that pocket. This is also good for if you're going dark on comms and you need to communicate, part of your pace plan, carry these around for sure. Makes it real simple. A lot of dudes sew them into the top of their boonie covers. I do that in some of my boonies, but in the tropics, it's so hot here that you've really got to be ventilated as much up top as you can so that heat can escape. And these UF Pro boonies are great for that. They're covered in mesh, so the heat kind of just escapes out of them. Now, moving over to this right shoulder pocket. Little contraption that I devised out of 550 cord and 2 lights. One end is a map light. You can buy these at the PX for $5. I've had this one since probably 2008, 2009, and it still has the original battery in it, and it still works. This thing's been on 2 deployments, and it's just a great piece of kit. There's different modes for it: flash, steady, or push to light. And then on the other end of it, just one of those helmet lights. This one is just Viz green. And the reason why I got these two things daisy chained together, one, you don't want loose grandma's junk drawer going on in your pockets. That's how you lose stuff. And then two, this thing can be used as a buzz saw. So if I want to have, you know, a low kind of signature, but still, visual light buzz saw, I can just turn on one end of this, and then using the full length of this, if I want, I can just do a buzz saw real quick with just a small light. Or if I want to have a larger signature, I can turn on this one and then have a huge buzz saw. So great for signaling, and it just keeps everything together. And then I've got a little D-ring on one side, so I can clip this onto kit real quick if needed. I've got another lanyard that I devised. This one is not completely my idea. I took the idea for this from Prepared Pathfinder and then just kind of made it my own. But I believe the Brits run these sear lanyards, and if you don't follow his channel, you definitely should. He's got a lot of great things, and from the British para perspective, it definitely can help round out your kit. So on the very end, Whistle had this one since basic training. I think we've talked about it in other videos. Bic lighter with 100-mile-an-hour tape on it. You can actually light 100-mile-an-hour tape on fire for hasty tinder. And then a signal mirror, and then just got a 100-mile-an-hour tape on one side to protect the mirror from getting scratched up. And then a Swiss Army knife is also on here. And this is just a little one. Didn't want to take up too much space. I also carry a Gerber on me too. This is just to plus up that. And Swiss Army knives are cool. They don't replace your Gerber or your multi-tool by any means, but it is a nice addition, especially since they all come with tweezers, which if you've ever been to the field, you know that tweezers, could save your life, especially if you get like a splinter that's going to get infected or something weird, and you're stuck out in the bush. And it also comes with a toothpick. So great little things to have. So definitely recommend throwing a Swiss Army knife on your sear lanyard if you are going to make one. And then also, since it's all lanyarded up, keeps everything together and keeps it from getting lost in the pocket. On back to the right buttocks pocket of the trousers. I keep a right in the rain pad in there. One of my platoon sergeants back when I was a private always said you should always have 3 things on your person as a soldier. You should always have a pad with a pen, a knife, and a lighter. That might be 4 things. Yeah, always have those 4 things on your person. No matter garrison, field, combat, whatever. You should always have those 4 things in your pockets. Also in that right buttocks pocket, got my handy little Scout survival tin. The contents of this are identical to half of the contents that are in my SAS survival kit. So if you haven't seen that video yet, after this one, go watch that one. But they're all the same contents. I'm going to read out to you what is in this tin. I'm not going to open it because it's waterproofed, it's wrapped in cellophane and everything else. So it would be pointless for me to show you what is in here because it's identical to this list of contents I'm going to read out that are in the SAS survival tin. This company, Best Glide ASE, they only use quality products in their survival tins. So you're not going to get a bunch of Amazon bullshit packed into a tin from like, China and crap. All the contents of this tin are top notch, good grade, and meant to withstand harsh environments. So I'll just read off to you everything that's in here, and then we'll move past it so we won't get too hung up on this. Inside here, we've got a button compass. It is the military issue one. It has all-weather survival matches, the NATO brand. Derma Safe razor knife, military approved as well by DoD. Sewing kit with safety pins. Water purification tablets, U.S. military issue. Adventure Survival Whistle, NATO approved. Mini Survival Fishing Kit, Type 1A utility cord, U.S. military approved. Brass snare wire, beeswax candles, compact flint fire starter with striker, fire starter tinder tabs, Venture Fresnel lens fire starter, band-aids and butterfly bandages, pocket wire saw, which is actually a really nice pocket saw too. One of the better ones I've seen, and actually comes in this kit. Industrial grade tie wraps, basically zip ties. A water bag, which you can collect water in this bag. It's food grade. You can actually hold it over a fire, not touching the flame, but you can hold it over a fire and boil water inside of this bag that they have. They're pretty sweet. And I believe that the Prepared Ranger, he has a video of it on his YouTube, so check that out. And then it has survival instructions, a pencil in here, and further instruction labels that you can stick on stuff. So pretty jam-packed list of stuff in this, and it's about the size of a wallet and weighs probably just as much as my wallet does too. So another fantastic piece of kit. If you guys aren't noticing the theme here, like this is all stuff that's in my pockets, doesn't really bug me at all, and honestly, I could forget that it's there. So it's doesn't inconvenience you at all. And if for some reason you were to get separated from all your kit, this has everything that you would need to be able to affect survival, out in the wild. So moving back to the left trouser pocket now. Got my compact IFAK. This does not replace in any way your military IFAK, but this is a nice little pocket kit. Again, the size of a wallet. This is from a brand called Live the Creed. I also EDC this as well. But inside of these, they come with a SWAT tee, which, yes, I know SWAT tee is not TC3 approved. However, they do make good pressure dressings. And if you're really shit out of luck and you don't have another tourniquet, this could actually work for a short time. But keep in mind, this is not TC3 committee approved. But again, it takes up no space at all and it sits compact. So why not carry it? Weighs nothing. And then also got a quick clot in this other side too. So this is a good little piece of kit to have. And, the life you save could be your own, So moving over to the right trouser pocket now. Shemagh. These are great for a lot of different applications. Making a hasty water filter, wiping sweat, washing your face, concealment, a million things. I prefer to keep these in cargo pockets when I'm in hot AOs like the one that I'm in right now. Keep around your neck all day will just make you sweaty and gross in a humid environment. But mission dictates where this thing will end up, but it's usually in my cargo pocket. So in this right breast pocket is a camo compact. Very important to very important to carry these and use them. Nothing reflects like skin. Even if you're one of the dark green types, you still need to apply face paint. Your skin sheens in the sun, and it's a dead giveaway. So it's kind of tricky because the ones with the mirrors are obviously better because you can apply it yourself. If you have the stick, you need a buddy to do it. Issue is the sticks apply way easier and way faster, but you can't see what you're doing. You can also see around my neck, I've got a sniper veil. There's a few other names for them, but sniper veil is just always what I've known it to be called. For some reason, a lot of people in New Army have never heard of these, seen them, or anything. But these are a great piece of kit. They were the predecessor to the Shemagh, and I like them a little better for like keeping around your neck, just because they're so breathable. And this can also have a ton of different uses. Towel. You can use it for concealment. It's great because you can see through it too, so you can drape it over your head, put it over your weapon, just a million different things. But I like to leave them tied up around the neck. Keeps the back of your neck covered from the sun, but it's still breathable. And you can also just spray these things up with bug spray, and that just gives you another layer of keeping the critters off you. So that's my sniper veil. But moving right along here, Gerber, tried and true. This one's one of the ones that I got issued. Never got around to buying Leathermans or anything. I've just always carried these. Leathermans can do a lot more, some of them, but this one has never failed me. So I've been carrying this thing for almost 2 decades. Great piece of kit. Goes everywhere with me as well. All right. moving over to the left cargo pocket now. Like I was talking about before, gloves. Gloves are extremely important. If you don't have work gloves on your person or on your kit, you're wrong. No matter what kit you're running, you should always have some work gloves, especially in wooded areas. But I'd also venture as far as to say these are good to have on your kit, even if you're doing urban stuff too. You never know if you're going to be doing some sort of mechanical breaching or having to climb some wall or move some debris out of the way, and you don't want to grab onto something that's going to mess up your assault gloves, because then you're stuck wearing these the whole time. So it's nice to be able to have these to change into if needed. So always have these either in your pocket, on your kit, something, but you should always have your either military issue work gloves or some tight fitting work gloves. Mechanics are real good. But I like these issued ones. I've had these for almost 2 decades as well, and they haven't wore out. So great piece of kit. So get some. I always try to keep a tourniquet in my left ankle pocket. Soft T. Love these. I prefer to use these when it comes to put them in pockets and stuff. In my experience, the cats and their Velcro just kind of mess everything up and get messed up themselves. So, but these soft tees, they seem to do better, running them in pockets. So I keep a soft tee in there. This is one of the older ones. A lot more metal on it. The newer ones, for some reason, seem to have a lot of plastic on them. But if you know what's up with that, drop it in the comments. But I have a mixture of the old ones and new ones. But I like the old ones a little bit more. They're just a little bit bulkier, but worth it for longevity wise. Pocket pry bar from Bowtac. You've seen this in other videos. Great little piece of kit. You can find it on Bowtac just by putting in pocket pry bar. That's literally the name of it. Great piece of kit. Made in the USA. Can't go wrong. It's pretty tough. I've jimmied a few doors with it, doing contracts and stuff, and it works great. Let me circle back to this thing. Forgot to mention, everything in this kit is very compliant and made in the USA. So there's definitely no Chinese junk in here. Moving along, back to the right front pocket. Spy stick from, where did I get this? These are a great piece of kit. Oh yeah, ITS, Imminent Threat Solutions. So these are pretty cool. Inside of them, you get a button compass. You get some tendering in there. You get a file. I think you get a little lockpick set in there too, and you also get a little flint striker, and there's also a little handcuff key in here too. So great little piece of kit. Again, takes up absolutely no space, and it just looks like generic chapstick. So can't go wrong with that. Go to Imminent Threat Solutions and buy one of these. They got a bunch of other cool stuff too that you can grab on the sear front as well. If you're not noticing the common theme here, most of the stuff in my pockets is for being able to affect sear. And that's really what I recommend. I have sear pouches and stuff, fanny packs and everything else. But the best way to carry most of your sear items is going to be in your pockets. Obviously, for like that longer end stuff, like my SAS survival tin, that one is to just be able to live out in the woods and survive for a long period of time. But you couldn't carry that in a cargo pocket or anything like you can all this stuff. So that SAS survival tin, it'll usually just live in a fanny pack, or it'll live in my ruck, or live in my assault pack. It'll usually be in one of those places. Kind of just really, again, depends on the mission. But I try not to be too far away from it. Like if I am going to separate from my rucksack, then it's going to go into my assault pack, or it'll already be in there. Just depends on space. So that pretty much concludes all the stuff that's in my pockets. Footwear real quick. Again, this is another thing that's going to be Met TC. I absolutely despise combat boots, except when operating in a jungle or tropic environment where there's just all sorts of creepy crawlies and stuff that's trying to get into your boots and cut you up and everything else. So for current AO, it's going to be combat boots where I'm at right now. Again, hate wearing them, super hot, but they protect you, and you can't get past that level of protection. But otherwise, if any other mission set, any other environment, you're going to catch me in Salomons or Merrells. You know, I hate combat boots, but for this video series that we're covering, combat boots are going to be my choice for this kind of loadout. But in my rucksack, I probably will have a pair of low cut Salmons or Merrells that compact real tight and don't weigh anything, that I can change into for sleeping at night. Or if you know my feet are soaking wet from those, I can hang those on my ruck and then have another pair of shoes to wear. So I'll usually always try to bring those. Some missions it's just not possible, but for the most part, I will always try to bring those. So that concludes the first line gear of my long range patrol kit series, and that wraps up this series. If you haven't seen the other videos, go back and watch those so you can get the complete list of everything that I would bring on a long range patrol, you know, recon type operation that's, you know, taking place in a wooded tropic jungle environment. If you think I missed anything, drop it in the comments below and we can talk about it. Otherwise, join the tribe, subscribe.